For those that don't, do you want to tell them what sea glass is and what they do with it?
It's kind of sad. Sea glass is basically litter.
That's not what I meant. Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us. Today we're going to talk about a trip that we actually took a year ago, almost exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the farthest trip we've ever taken together.
A long trip.
Very much. We went up to Ellsworth, Maine last June.
Maine, right there.
Here we are, entering Maine. And it was an epic trip. It was so much fun. It was actually for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. And so this was a really special trip, actually having all of my siblings in one place. And for those of you on social media that have asked about my family and siblings and so forth, we thought we'd take a few minutes throughout this video to give a little fun facts about my siblings. So we'll do that here as we go along. Going to a place like Maine, we were talking about it. And we're like, okay, what are the things we want to see? What are some things that we can't leave without seeing? And one of those was the lighthouses. We wanted to see lighthouses while we're there. And so we found Portland Head Lighthouse, but we got some surprise visitors while we were there. We're touring around the lighthouse and there's lots of people, taking pictures and looking around. And all of a sudden, my parents walked right in front of us and we did not know that they were going to be there. It was like, Mom, Dad.
We're stopping along the route.
So that was fun seeing them there. But before we got to our final destination, there was one other thing we really wanted to see while in Maine. Do you want to talk about this one?
I really wanted to see a moose. There were several state parks that had moose, but we weren't going to be close to any of those. So as we got closer, there were these, the little signs that said, watch out for moose while you're driving and so forth. But
moose crossing.
Yeah, we didn't see any along the route, but we found a reserve where they had injured animals that they were rehabilitating. And so we got to go and stop in there on our way up, and they had a moose. So,
we almost didn't see the moose still.
Yes, we searched for him.
We saw this one patch of trees.
We went back like 3 times to his pen.
and there was this one patch of trees that were like, maybe he could be hiding in there. It didn't seem likely though, but we looked really closely and sure enough, he was kneeling in those trees. We had to get out
our zoom to see him good.
Yeah, he hid and for being such a large animal, it's like, I didn't know moose were so elusive, for one.
It was so cool.
But that they were so good at hiding. And so anyway, we were very excited that we got to see our moose while in Maine. We finally got to our destination and got to see their family, and everybody, was coming in little bit by little bit.
It was so exciting. The
house we stayed at was pretty neat. It was a historic place. Apparently, Abraham Lincoln's vice president's son owned the house at some point, and it was a really beautiful place.
It was gorgeous. There were elements that they had redone to make it convenient. They'd added air conditioning, and it had a heated pool outdoors. But as much as they could indoors, they left in the historic form. And it was beautiful taking a tour to each room before everybody got there, and the doors and the lights and just the windows. It was so neat seeing all that history that they had preserved for all these years.
Yeah. And as a kind of introduction to my family, my siblings, my oldest sister Angie is a planner. Activities are her thing. She's always on the go. She's always good. And she knows the places to look up. So we get into the house, and there is a chart on the long table in the dining room of these are the events. This is the schedule of things we're going to be doing. She had mapped it all out. She'd researched it all.
She's a great planner.
She is. And she was always a fun sister growing up.
She's still fun.
She is. But I'm just thinking past memories. She was a great storyteller. And she was always thinking of something fun to do with us little kids. So, she's the first one. I'm number 8. And so I was a recipient a lot of her good ideas. Probably how Jeb kind of looks at you, maybe.
I don't know. She's
either.
like my goal for being a good big sister. We've been married for almost 9 years now. And every Christmas, she comes home with something fun for all of us to participate in.
True to form, she was still at it, planning the activities, and she had scheduled a lot of fun things for us to do. So Ellsworth is right next to Acadia National Park. Yes, if you ever want to go, it's a great place. But Acadia, it's a beautiful spot, but it was unique for us because the nature trails you could take were on the outskirts of the island where it was like rocky and you see ocean.
I'm used to sandy beaches, so that was a first for me, and
Right.
it took my breath away. And the huge splashes that you see in the postcards, like they were continuous. Like as you walk the trail, you keep seeing these huge splashes on the rocks. And
Yeah. And then after Angie, my sister Angie is my brother Ronnie, or RJ. And it was really good to see him. He actually moved out west when I was fairly young. And so there's been a lot of years of, a lot of miles between us. So it was always nice to be able to reconnect when he could come back to our area. There's a lot of artists in my family. I would have to say, without a doubt, RJ is the best out of anyone in the family.
he's incredible.
It is amazing. He doesn't do it as much now as he used to, but he could capture people's likenesses, copy a picture, just whatever he did. He was very good at it. So even though I've always loved to draw and that kind of thing, I am definitely surpassed by my big brother in skill. He's very good. Getting to Thunder Hall was cool, just watching the scenery and all this, but actually getting there, for those of you who haven't been, Thunder Hole is this kind of canal between the rocks that leads to this hollow, and when the tide is just right, a wave comes by and crashes into that and makes a big boom.
It's very loud.
So we got to do that. My next sibling is my sister Allison, and a unique thing about Allison, or special thing, I didn't realize this until very recently, but she's the reason I started violin lessons as a kid. She became an amazing musician. She plays to this day, but she was...
she teaches as well.
She teaches. She was playing college orchestras, things like that, performing on stages, stuff like that. Really, really gifted musician. And so, yeah, I didn't stick with it like she did, but that's one thing about Allison. She's an amazing musician.
And a little bit about her personality. Because you talked about some of her skill, but she's just fun-loving and she's down for anything. It doesn't matter if it's a game night or run grab coffee or a hike. If you mention it, she's like, oh yeah, I'm all in. So if you need somebody to do something with you, Allison will be there.
Yes. Yeah, she's an amazing sister. Another really neat place we got to visit was the Cadillac Mountain. Such a beautiful, beautiful view. You have water all around. You can see, Bar Harbor, from up there, which is really a, special place to visit, which we ended up going there later. So after Allison is my brother Craig, who also lives out west right now. And there's actually a time where he was my coach in basketball. In junior high, he was my coach or assistant coach during that time. But Craig, he's a very easygoing guy, but he's also very fun-loving. You can't be around Craig for too long before there's an outburst of laughter. Just a good time. And he was always like that, he pretty easygoing as well. But anyway, it
was especially fun for me getting to watch him be a dad.
Yes.
Because I had just known him as the brother aspect, but all the kids and his wife are with him on this trip. And it was just so special.
Yeah, we're east, they're west. You don't see each other, every week or anything. So it was really neat to see them again. But his little boy Knox is hilarious. He and
watching his personality blossom because he had found his words by the time we saw him on this trip, and it was just
it's just so cute watching him
he's a doll baby.
If there's anything to eat, he's gonna be there. And there was this moment that it was so funny. We were having dessert at the dinner table, and he decided he wanted some of my mom's dessert. And so he sat across the table from her and just kind of looked at her like, will you give me what you've got in your plate? And my mom, her heart's melting. He puts his little hands on his cheeks and he's just enjoying eating.
He's a little heartthrob.
His mom was spoon feeding him, but anyway, really, really cute little guy. All the kids were cute, but he was the youngest, and so I think there's a lot more attention there. But really fun to see Craig and his family.
Mm-hmm.
Becky is the next sibling down.
Becky's a twin.
Yep, Becky and Brent are the twins in my family. And Becky, she is very skilled in music and actually loves to arrange things. I think she's taken different classes and so forth, and can just bring different instruments together. Really beautiful. But Becky is one of those people, emotional support is like her forte. You can talk to her about anything, and she's willing to listen and talk through anything. And she's really just been a good sister to have.
She's thoughtful, and she's a listening ear, and she'll pray with you.
A big blessing. So her twin Brent is next sibling, because technically she was born first, so I guess
not
technically she's
older, but...
a few minutes older. But Brent, he's a great guy. He's very analytical, very good with details, very good with research, and also
he's a thinker. He's very smart.
He is,
but he also has really fun things that he sends out on the family thread and keeps us laughing. He's got a really great humor.
Yes, he's got a quick wit. There will be a lot of times when someone will send a picture out or something, and he'll just he'll shoot back a text just like, wow, only Brent would have thought of that. So he's very creative in his thinking as well. We vacation a little bit different. We do something, a little bit more active, and then we like to do something a little bit more relaxing, and we just kind of alternate. And so anyway, we did this, this hike up to Cadillac Mountain, and which was really pretty. But then a lot of the others are like, oh, let's take this trail down to such and such, and let's do another hike kind of thing.
The brave ones did even a second hike.
And so anyway, several people did that, but we went down to Bar Harbor with my parents. Do you want to talk about our search down at Bar Harbor?
The top thing on my list for going to Maine was to find sea glass. I don't know why. It was so exciting for me. I had read about it, and I wanted to find it while we were there. And so I was trying to search all of the places online and ask all of the people on social media, like, where can I find sea glass?
Now, I'm sure a lot of people do know, but for those that don't, do you want to tell them what sea glass is and what they do with it?
It's kind of sad. Sea glass is basically litter.
That's not what I meant. So what happens with this glass is the glass breaks in the ocean and it goes down to the bottom. And then as the tides come in and out and the waves hit it against other rocks,
the sand and the rocks,
it begins to sand away the sharp edges of this sea glass until years later it becomes like this round, almost like a round gem in the ocean, really. And so people actually harvest this stuff and make jewelry out of it. And so I wasn't familiar with sea glass before going.
I was searching everywhere online to know where to find it.
But it was actually very cool, because when you actually found what it was, it didn't look like a piece of litter, and it's actually quite valuable. People can sell this, it's a form of jewelry that they actually use.
Beautiful, and it would sparkle, and you could see it if the sun hit it just right. So searching through all the rocks and the pebbles to find it. My first piece I was so excited about.
We were looking, and my parents came, and we were just looking around, and we could, I picked up so many little, maybe quartz or something. It's like, is this it? And you're like, no, that's not it. It's like, oh, is this it? It's like, because I wasn't familiar with it, so I didn't know exactly what to look for, but we didn't find hardly any. But who did you run into? Somebody came out and is like, if you want to find sea glass, I come here, did she say every year?
Mm-hmm. I think she said every year.
She's like, I come here every year, and I go to this spot, and there's always sea glass there.
And there was.
And she filled up jars with it. It's like, oh, well, let's find that spot. So we went over, and sure enough, there was tons.
And it wasn't a huge area. It was a really small area from what I was expecting for there to be so much. But just the way that the inlet came in, it was everywhere.
And it was really special, too, because the sea glass, Michael wanted this. It was really special for her. But my parents came with us. And I don't know how much they cared about sea glass, but they joined us and they started searching for it. And so we were all hunting there on the beach together.
One of my favorite memories. It was just the four of us hanging out together and searching for sea glass.
And so Kara, my sister Kara, comes after Brent. And she's a great sister. She's got a fun side.
Yes.
She's got her organized side, but then this fun side comes out, and it does keep us laughing.
Kara and I have gotten pretty close. I enjoy our conversation. She's a little quieter on the front end. You might not think she'd be super talkative, but she has deep conversations and a lot to share, and just a lot of wisdom when we chat. So she's super great.
Yeah. So anyway, Kara's number 7. I'm number 8. We went to Jordan's Pond. They had this fun boardwalk that
made me dizzy.
walking around, literally, it's boards about this wide that you just are.
It was just plank after plank after plank for a long time.
For a long time. And so it's just everybody, it was single file, there's no
and
walking.
And it was drizzling, we had our ponchos.
Right.
It was beautiful.
And another activity to do with the family, but that was really enjoyable. After me is my sister Christy. And Christy
looks like his twin. So sometimes I think they look even more like twins than Brent and Becky do.
Growing up, when people heard that there was twins in the family, usually they guessed me and Christy, not Becky and Brent. But she's fun-loving. She's a very fun personality. Loves to be where the action is. And she's always been that way. Just, I guess, a sense of adventure. I guess she's always
very adventurous, in my opinion.
She's an amazing sister. Really, really great, and has become really skilled in event planning and so forth. So, anyway, that's her. And Amber is the baby of the family. Growing up, me, Christy, and Amber were labeled the three little kids.
A little trio.
Yep.
Like Callie, Judson, and Jeb in my family.
Right, right. And so Amber, she always had a very tender heart, especially for animals. She always loved her cats. We had wild cats in the barn, which they didn't stay wild for long because Amber would go and love them and tame them. So anyway, she always just had a tender heart there. But actually, she developed an amazing voice. She has an incredible voice, loves to sing. That's kind of a summary of my siblings and my family. The reason we were in Maine as a family is my mom always wanted to go. I think that was a lifelong dream of hers. She always wanted to go up to Maine, so this was the opportunity to do it. And so we did, and we had an amazing time.
Oh, it was stunning. Carlin got engaged in Maine, so I had seen some pictures from their short trip, and I knew it was beautiful, but it was even more than I imagined. It was just unbelievable. We took that boat tour.
Oh,
which
yes.
was incredible.
You want to talk about that?
Oh, that was so
fun.
Exciting.
That was probably one of the best days.
Yeah, we spent, was it a couple hours?
Yeah.
So we got up early and we all went out together, and everybody went, and they put you on, I don't know what kind of boat you call it, but you could see out of it. And we went to the different spots, and they showed us how they get lobster from the...
And crab?
Yep, crab from the different traps. So that was super fun. They were telling us just all the laws to make sure that they're protected and they're not got too young, and you don't get females that have babies. So it was just very educational and engaging. And after they caught them, they pass around and let you touch them and then throw them back in the ocean. So it was so much. And then we got to a little island where there was a lighthouse and seals. Is it seals?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they had little babies, and then we saw bald eagles. So it was just, that whole day was just kind of astounding, one thing after the next.
So anyway, we had a lot of really, really fun stops and adventures while in Maine, but obviously the main reason, the main thing for this trip was my parents' 50th celebration. And so we there was a designated evening there where the whole family come and had a long dinner table, so everybody was able to fit, which is really cool when you have a family reunion and everyone can be at the same table. But just celebrating mom and dad, their commitment to each other, the love for each other, and their investment in all of us. It was a really, really special time. Reaching 50 years is monumental, and amazing. And my parents have just really excelled in being an example of what love looks like and what commitment looks like. And you can tell, they love each other and they love their kids, and they have...
They love their kids. It's super cool because I feel like not only are they my in-laws, but they're also our friends, because all their kids are grown. So going back home, it's just, we're all adults now, and just sitting around the table and talking about what the Lord's done or what he's teaching us, what's happening at work or what our hobbies are. It's just really special because not only are they family, but there's also a friendship that just, it's really pleasant and enjoyable. And we look forward to going home. And
my parents are somebody that I want to follow their example. I just feel like they're continuously an amazing example of what it means to love the Lord, first of all, and then to love their spouse. and to really give their all and really just, invest in others wherever there's an opportunity. From the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful for the parents God did bless me with.
It's inspiring to watch because they've raised their children and they're still very much enjoying every day of life, and they have fun together and they laugh with each other. Being together and thanking the Lord for what He's done and for 50 years and that we were all there together. I think it's a week that I'll remember for a lifetime.